Better living through jazz, can it be achieved? We're going to get that answer right here with Shelley Davis from the Jazz Lovers Show, Jazz Lovers Club. Welcome to the program. Thanks for joining us. And where's your partner?
Well, Sharon's you're just taking it easy. You know, it's early in the morning for a performer to get up.
Jazz performers, yeah. I can't believe you. One of you was it a flip of a coin who had to come in?
Well, you know, I'm the older one. Yeah, so.
All right, older and wiser. Thanks, Shelley, for coming in. The Jazz Quartet is going to be performing over on the 26th over at Clubhouse 1 from 6 to 8 p.m. Tell us a little bit about what you guys are going to be doing.
Well, we decided to pick a theme for this show, which is kind of close to my heart, which is better living through jazz. Well, ever since I was young, I've always been attracted to spiritual themes in music. In the '60s, there was a wonderful talent, John Coltrane, who many people don't know, and he said, "I'm going to put my spiritual and my devotion to all the beautiful love that is in the world, and make that part of. I'm not going to separate it from my career as a jazz musician." And my wife and I, Sharon, who we've been together for many, many years, and so we've always shared that also. And we used to have a website where we'd have one page for the jazz and blues and one page for our spiritual music, because we were also musical directors for the Unity Church for like 17 years. So we shared that. And we'd have one page for my solo piano stuff. So now it's all combined. You know, we have a Bandcamp page. And so this concert, we're going to feature a lot of our original music with spiritual themes to uplift and to show how we can live better.
Well, with rock and roll, with country music, with a lot of that stuff, they're very lyrical based, right? And so you know what the song is about. With jazz, so much of it is just instrumental. So can it be more interpreted? That's why maybe the spirituality comes in. It means whatever you want it to mean, or whatever it speaks to you.
Well, everybody, yes, that's true. Everybody is an individual, and each person gets out of life whatever they're going to get out of life. It's not for us to judge another person, but yes, there is an intention, and in a lot of the songs there are lyrics. So we have a guide there. And I think that in general, when there's any kind of lyric, whether it's a lyric of a spiritually uplifting song or a really I feel terrible today blues, the music does kind of go along with the lyric, even if the lyric is not being sung. As a musician playing, you're thinking about what is that lyric. But in our case, we've got both. We've got songs where it's an instrumental, where there's a feel, like a song called "Growing." I'm going to do. It's an instrumental. It's about growing, and the music will grow. Or then there's a song called "A Little Better Now," and it's about how if we follow that feeling of goodness and peace, it's a little better now. So we're going to do that. We're going to get into that. We're going to just explore that musically, and we're going to explore it lyrically. And so it's going to be very obvious that we're all going to be in this together, saying, how do we face the challenges of being in a senior community, being older, being closer to one side of life versus the other.
The downhill side of life.
It's not really downhill. It's every moment of your life is just like being a jazz musician. You're always trying to make everything that you do, the way you speak, the way you act, the way you think, you always want to be uplifted, getting better.
Right.
Everything should
and
be
that
getting
takes
better.
And that takes a little improvisation, which is going to be my next question. Jazz is known for its improvisation. Why is that in the world of jazz that they'll just improvise, kind of go on a different kind of line in the song, kind of thing? What is it about? What's the source of that?
That's what. So you have, obviously there are structures that you learn in music. You just like a child has to learn certain boundaries, and so it's the same kind of thing with jazz. You learn a structure and then you improvise, and so that, of course, is what makes it exciting for me. Is because you don't always, it's not like you memorize it and play it exactly the same way.
Right.
That's the excitement, and it's the same thing for a person in your life. You realize that every day is going to be different. Sometimes it seems exactly the same, but even just dealing with monotony in itself takes improvising, takes the ability to take what's happening, relax, breathe. It's something that has to be experienced. If you could, you can't necessarily put it into words.
Right. It's
for
that
me,
feeling. It's that left brain, right brain kind of distinction.
It's not. Yes, there's a synthesis of intellectual understanding of what you're doing as a player. Oh, here he's taking these, like a classical, person. He takes certain chords and he finds all these different ways to get around the chord and embellish it and write it all down, so he can recreate this wonderful improvisation. The jazz player just does it spontaneously, and so it's the same kind of thing. You person could go to a class and try to learn how to live a better life.
Okay. Now, are there different types of improvisation that you do? Are there waves of improvisation? Are there different techniques that you approach as well?
That touches on what you had mentioned about the difference between a song that has a lyric and a song that has a music. So what John Coltrane, he was not a singer, but he did have a wonderful poem that was in his liner notes of the album, for those of us who remember that. And so yes, so what happens is, instead of the jazz players would take the song, the basic song, like a standard song, could have been a Broadway song or something like that, and you could clearly see, oh, here's all the different things I could do with this song. I can improvise on it. I can show you all these variations. So he did that, but he did it in a way where he incorporated different kinds of harmonic, different kinds of like, say, he might do some Eastern kind of music in it. It's like Ravi Shankar that I think about.
Sure.
About these flowing lines of just, and so that's what he did. So here's what they called it waves, because the way he played the sax was different than what other players were doing, and it influenced a lot of other. So now it's it's another tool.
Okay.
It's where it's not so much that you're creating the music is there.
Okay. Now, in the show that you guys are going to do, you're also going to use lyrics, and you're going to have maybe the crowd kind of engage a little bit in the lyrics, that kind of the whole
to some extent,
better living kind of attitude.
Not so much a sing along, but I think that we want to, it's swing in itself.
Okay.
Just by itself is an integral part of jazz. It's a rhythm, right? There's a rhythm. Our bodies have a rhythm, whether you're on the dance floor or just listening. So I think jazz is certainly a wonderful way to get in touch with that.
Well, Shelley Davis, he's only 1/4 of the excitement you guys are going to experience with the quartet that's going to be on the 26th over at Clubhouse 1 from 6 to 8 p.m. Make sure you get out there and enjoy that. Shelley Davis from the Jazz Lovers Club, thank you very much for joining us today.
Sure.
Appreciate it. When we come back, we'll be talking to folks from Community Bridge Builders. Stay with us.